Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to be bringing you guys this video today. I was trying to set up around the house. You also, firstly, disclaimer, you might hear noises in the back. That's because we are full midst renovation here at the house still. So if you hear noises in the back, it is certainly associated to that. We're still going full steam ahead. But I'm very excited to be bringing you guys this video today. As I was saying, I was kind of setting up my camera and I was like, where can I go that will give the least bit away? Because the area I'm in of the house has been like 80% done now. But I want to show you guys through the vlogs I've made the kind of process from start to finish. So I don't want to give too much away, but you can see a little bit of what's going on here behind me, which is exciting. Today, we're not going to be focusing on that. We're actually going to be taking a trip a little bit back in time. We're going to be jumping through different timelines because you guys might remember that when we first purchased this house, we were not living here. We are currently living here. This is present day, Matt. I've just filmed this a couple days ago. So we've been living here now for close to 3 weeks, I think. But for the first 6 or 7 months of us owning this property, actually, yeah, 6 or 7 months, we were living 2 hours away in the north of the Netherlands, and we've now moved to the east. But it meant that for quite a bit of time, I mean, it always takes a second to find your feet and find the right people to work with for the renovations and stuff, but it meant that the house stayed pretty quiet for a couple of months while we were getting all of our ducks in a row and preparing for the renovations. But Yes and I wanted to start to put our stamp on things and make our mark on everything as well. So we decided that, okay, if we're not going to begin with the renovations, what we are going to do is every time we go up for a long weekend or a couple of days to the house, we're going to pack my pickup with a bunch of gardening tools and a bunch of different things that we can start to already use at the property in order to work on the outside and start making a difference and an impact. Now, because of the size of the property, our previous property that we had and renovated, it was about 5 acres. And this property sits on 40, and some of it is woodland as well. So there's a lot of different management that we had to learn quite early on when we bought the property about actually keeping everything running smoothly and just things to look out for. So that's kind of where it all began. We started to make an assessment. Okay, there was a couple of dead trees we had to get removed. There was some maintenance, some forest maintenance that needed to happen, some maintenance along the river. We have a river that runs through the whole property as well. And then we started to look around at, okay, what are the first things we want to get planted? Some things for privacy. What are some areas we're going to have to start clearing up around the barn so that the new horse windows can be installed? We started to already think a little bit, okay, what is necessary and what is going to allow it with the weather while it's still dry enough to get vehicles on the land. Also, what can we do in order to gain some, like, a little bit of satisfaction out of finishing a project? That was also really important. So I've compiled for you guys a small list of things we did, and I've vlogged them, and I just want to share a little bit of what that process is like. Of course, my YouTube channel is heavily equestrian based. It always will be. But I truly have a genuine passion and fulfillment from gardening, homemaking, all these kind of things. So you guys are going to be seeing a little bit of this content fly between my regular content. So let me know how it sits with you guys and if you like it. I'm hoping this is a little bit of like a wholesome vlog because it's outside, it's in nature. It was the autumn of 2024 when some of these things were filmed, so everything still looks a little bit green, a little bit of a nice reminder of what the world looks like with some leaves on it. So the first project that from the moment we came for our first viewing at the house, I saw this opportunity, and it was on the front of the home. There is a garden, which is, you can kind of see it behind me, which has like a small forest around it. But I saw that there was like an empty spot, and I wanted to plant something straight away to try and gain some privacy over the next couple of years. There is a small road that runs there. It's not too heavily trafficked, but it's nice to have a nice green belt around your property, and also to make sure that when you look out the window, even on these more depressing months when everything is naked and twigs, that you still see some green. So the first project I did was exactly that. It was heavily focused on creating a privacy screening with plants. So take a look. We're going to jump back to September of 2024. Good morning. It is a brand new day here at our new house. We've been coming here just a little bit on and off for some meetings with architects, advisors, trying to get everything kind of wrapped up and ready to go so we can finally start making an impact and putting our own stamp on this beautiful place. Today is going to be something a little bit different. We're slipping into early autumn, and we're very close, but we're not quite ready yet to start doing a lot of stuff on the house. So I thought I would take the time today to start checking off some lists of some things outside. So we're gonna be doing kind of like a maintenance day around the property. This is something that truly fulfills my soul and I enjoy. I did it a lot at our old house, including renovating our whole garden and everything. We're not quite doing that today. That's gonna be coming down the line. But we're gonna start making a little bit of an impact. I've ordered 4 really large cypress trees, which are gonna be planted at the front of the house. Just so we can start to get a little bit more privacy from the road, especially when winter comes and all the trees defoliate. Then we'll have a little bit of an evergreen screen. I don't want to plant like a formal hedge, so I'm gonna let these junipers just kind of do their own things and be more like large trees. And I've selected different ones of various sizes, obviously keeping in mind the space, but I'm gonna show you that area. I actually got a message that the guy that's delivering the trees is gonna be here in just a couple minutes, so I'm gonna head out because sometimes they can't really find the entrance. I've got the dogs with me today, which Yes is not terribly happy about. But I love bringing them up here because they can just be in the garden and they can just do their own thing, and they really love it here. I think they can feel that it's home. Right, let's go take a look. He must be around here.
Okay, if you could stand in the bus and guide the top of the tree, then I'll carry the heavy thing out. Oh yeah, they're quite tall, aren't they? Yeah.
Oh, it's stuck on this. Wait. Oh, it's fine.
Okay. Very tall. Sure. Nice.
Well, what can I say? I am thoroughly impressed by these cypress trees. This one is huge. It has to be, I mean, the tag says 3.5 to 4 meters, but then so does this one, and that's definitely 3.5 to 4 meters, and this one's more towards like 5. So these are gonna be big impact. Obviously they've been kept quite thin because they're in the nursery, but these trees do grow quite quickly, so they will bush out and they will create a nice kind of individual trees that will create a bit of like a natural privacy screen. So let me just go through and show you the space that we're going to be tackling. I've changed. I've got my gum boots on and something a little bit more workable. But we're just going to walk towards the front of the house. So house is here, and if we go through this way, this is the side towards the road, and as you can see there's already quite a nice green natural hedge happening here. Now most of these trees lose their leaves, which means that the road becomes a little bit more exposed in the winter. And this, you can see there's a gap right through here with the gate, and this was actually the original entrance of the property, which would take you round a kind of circular driveway and you would access the house. Now obviously as horses stopped carrying people and cars did, this road got a lot more dangerous, and that's meant that the location of the entrance has now been moved further down, but there is still kind of this unused space here in the front of the property, and that's where I would like to plant. Wait, why is it so much bigger than I remembered? Well, this is where I would like to start the planting, because I think what I've ordered won't be enough. So maybe we can start focusing our efforts on this side. See that between our hedge and the trees, there is quite a lot of space. I don't know why I thought 4 of these like cypress trees would be enough, because we have this whole bit to do. Well, we're gonna be making a start today then. I would like to have them spaced about 6 meters apart, because I want them to have their own space to really grow as trees and not just like a formal hedge. Bear with me for just 60 seconds, because I've just opened up a brand new website for my horse Emporio, and that is because I'm finally offering him for breeding. But in order for me to be able to promote him and to house everything, I had to create a new website, and that is where Squarespace has come in so handy again. This whole new website, mhbreeding.com, was created so easily on Squarespace. They offer hundreds of already made templates, so I was able to just run through, have a look, and quickly identify which ones I wanted to go with. There was already recommendations in terms of layouts. I could quickly assemble everything, and in only a matter of a couple of days work, we were fully operational and ready to go. There's a shop backend, people can place an order in order to have the service stud fee, and everything has ran so smoothly as always. This has given me so much more confidence, again, having created what is now like my 4th or 5th website through Squarespace, that this truly is the best platform. So whether you're thinking of opening up a new website, or if you have a current website and you're not really liking the setup, I highly, highly recommend converting to Squarespace. You will not regret it. Now, for any of you that are interested, you can use my link, which is www.squarespace.com/MattHarnacke, and in doing so, you'll receive 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Thank you, Squarespace, so much for the ongoing support, and now back to the video. I'm gonna space them out, see if I'm happy with the placement. Once I'm happy, gonna start digging. Gonna have quite a few holes to dig, and they're big holes, but this will be a really satisfying and exciting first project. So let's just start grabbing them one by one. Look how pretty this is. Look how pretty this entrance would have been back in the day on horse and carriage, opening up through to the house. They just used to do things right back then. Like, that was, I don't know, it was, I think back then it was all about the experience, and we live in a different world now, minimalist, and everything is about convenience. But nevertheless, let's get planting. Right, so I think I have them roughly where I want them. I ended up putting them kind of in this section here, and I probably have room for 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 more big ones. So I'll get those ordered, so next time I'm here I can plant them. But let's start with this. And this is, I was like, okay, let's start at the beginning of the bend. That probably is the thing that makes the most sense. So we're gonna get these planted. I'm gonna start by planting. Should I plant this one first? This is the heaviest. I'm gonna start by planting the heaviest first. Also, as we come to the front of the house, this is a linden tree, and it's kind of coloring up from the inside out. How incredible does that look? This is gonna be a glorious show once it's in its full autumnal color. Everything else looks pretty much the same still, but let's swing through here. There's one. We can already see one there. I've tried to clean up also a bit here with mowing and all that kind of stuff. So that is our old trees that are in. They're doing great. No issues so far. We've got one new one here. another one here, and one there. So that's what I think is going to be, it's going to be enough, because I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just let all of this kind of grow forward a little bit and give us that privacy, and then we'll do some stuff behind it, because there's quite a large planting bed to gain some more like kind of like evergreen screening throughout the winter. But this is the first step for this section here. Let me give you a perspective from the other side. Right, and that's what we're dealing from over here. Plan is I'm going to start planting, digging these holes, which literally nearly killed me last time because it was full of roots. But I'm gonna dig these holes, water everything in, unwrap everything. We're gonna take some drone shots so you guys can see, and then we're gonna have a look from the road and actually show you what it looks like when you're driving from outside the house, so you get a better perspective. Right, let's get to it. Right, well, we've got a small problem because, of course, where this tree needs to go, this was the old entrance of the property. So you can see behind me, this is the gate. This is where the original entrance here was created. And of course, they would have had at some point some sort of like gravel road or something like that for the carriages and then later the cars. And I think I'm just hitting, it's not like a concrete block, but I'm hitting some sort of like stone base. And I think me and my little shovel are not going to get very far. So I'm going to ask the contractor if he can come with a digger here and just dig this one out and put this one in, because I'm going to be here literally all day. And I even had to take my, oh, this is a good tip for anyone. I've worked in the watch business, so I know. If you have a watch on your wrist and you're doing anything which has like an impact to your wrist, take your watch off, because that's a great way to break it. So yeah, I was dedicated, took my bloody watch off, and I kept going, and this is as far as I got, and I tried to really put my back into it. It's as far as I got. Now, I'm pretty happy with how that project turned out. I will say, of course, it's something that's going to take a little bit of time to fill in. It's not, you don't see like the full finished vision, but you can kind of understand where things are going with it. So that was like the first one off the list. It was one of those things where I severely underestimated the space, the size of the space. I think this is also something that, coming from like our previous home, it's like, I think, in a much different size. So that's why I had to split the project up into a couple of weeks in order to be able to order the right amount of plants, get through all the troubleshooting, and then get everything set up. I will say the plants are still thriving. They look great, and I'm excited to see how they do for this first season coming up and how much growth they put on. In full sun, these cypresses can grow like a meter and a half per year. It is not a full sun location, so I think it will be a little bit slower for them there. But yeah, I was really happy with getting that project done. I will keep you guys updated with how it evolves and continues to look. Now, the second project I wanted to share with you guys is something actually really fun. And it's a project that we did. We have like a walled garden. At least that's what I call it. It's like the easiest description on our property. And that's because there was 2 additional barns that were built next to our big barn, which were demolished about 30 years ago. But when they demolished them, they kept some of the walls up, which creates this kind of walled courtyard area. And along the south side of the barn, there was quite a few trees growing right next to the wall, and ivy and all that kind of stuff. And that is where at one stage we will have to insert horse windows. So we will need some more space there. We will need to clean things up. So that's the first project I wanted to do. I wanted to clean up the courtyard area. And that's something that I was lucky enough to do with my brother, which was a lot of fun. My brother and I, we have a really close relationship, so we can really like laugh about anything. And so we just kind of made a day of it, of getting in there, pulling everything off the walls, cutting everything down, neatening it all up. And I think it came out so nicely. I will say, I don't know if you guys have already noticed, but there is something missing from that area. And that was another job that we did, was through a local contractor. We had, there was 2 pear trees in that courtyard. They were quite large. They did have some mild disease issues, and they were also being held up by some posts. So they were on the older side. But they did have some stability issues, and they were quite close to the wall of the stable, so we did have them removed. It was also like the kind of pear trees that you can't eat, like it's not like a raw pear. You have to cook. I mean, of course it's a raw pear, but you cannot eat the pear raw. You have to actually cook it in order to be able to eat it or make jam from it. But yeah, they were pretty trees, but they were not super safe. It was a little bit the wrong location as well, because the horses could reach them and everything. So we thought, okay, I think it's just best to clean them up and get them out of here. It will be safer for the horses, the dogs, us. And it was just, I think, a matter of time, because they did have some rot issues. So that was something that we did first to clear out the courtyard. And then in came my brother and I to do the rest of the tidying up, ripping out and clearing out.
Cut it with a chainsaw now! You have to cut it into, wait, can you get it off that shrub? Yeah.
This is tied here. Get the chainsaw! It's the root! It's the root! Where is it? A little bit at the start of the video that with a large property like this that doesn't just have like formal man-made gardens but has quite a lot of forests as well, there is different management aspects that we have to think about. So something that was really important for us was taking care of any trees that were dead, because I think typically a dead tree lasts about 5 years before it falls on its own, which can be quite dangerous depending on if there's somebody standing at the bottom, if it's close to the house, if it's close to a road. So we quickly wanted to assess, okay, is there any dead trees that we have to get rid of? And there was 2 pretty high risk dead trees that were close to the house, but also close to the public road. So those were 2 that they were already dead for quite a while as well. So those were 2 trees that we handled really quickly. And then, as I told you guys, we have this river that runs along all of our property. And we have a certain type of willow tree that grows next to the rivers here. It's actually very Dutch. You see it everywhere. And these willows typically have to have their branches cut back every year because the willow structure cannot sustain how heavy the branches can get if you let them grow and grow and grow. So we had to get all of the willows cut back, which was actually quite a big job. And we had a lot of wood left from it. It's not exactly like the best type of like burning wood because it burns very quickly and not very hot. So it's not something that you really use for burning. It is something the horses can eat and enjoy, but we didn't have any horses here. So we had to get everything chipped and taken care of. But it had been a couple of years since they were done, and we could already see the effects of the weight on some of them, because some of them died and collapsed, some of them broke in half. So it was nice to get that all buttoned up and cleaned up. It actually looked so much nicer along the river as well once it was all cleaned. So that was also a job that we focused kind of a little bit straight away, because we needed to make sure that the big tractors and the machines could get onto the field still without it being too wet and getting bogged down or absolutely ruining everything. So that was also something really fun to tackle early on, and it was such a satisfying thing to watch as well. We were really lucky. We found such an amazing contractor here in the area, and he's been handling a lot of these kind of jobs for us. And he knows a lot of the people around here, and it's a really nice person that you can just trust, and will do a good quality job. And fast forwarding to now, we have just completed another project, another outside project. I think it's actually the largest project we've done. And that was what I told you guys. We have like a street that's been here for like years on this property, but it needed some reworking because the base had kind of like moved, and it started to become quite muddy. So we've just fixed all of that. So that's something I will share a little bit later on, because I don't still have all the final shots to show you guys, but there is quite a lot of things getting buttoned up outside. And obviously in the meantime, we've continued with the renovations of the house. That's been something that has not stopped, even when we were doing some of the work outside. So I think we started renovating in October of 2024. So we've been doing like 3 or 4 months of renos, and things are getting there slowly. I think Yes and I always knew this property was going to be a big job. It was going to be like more of like I think these properties are like a lifetime thing also, because once you're done with one thing, the next thing starts somewhere else always. But we didn't necessarily underestimate the amount of work that we had, but we underestimated just how long it takes to renovate something sympathetically. Keeping the character of the place, keeping the authenticity, restoring things rather than buying something new, especially when you try and restore them for the long term. There's a lot of like different methods that you have to go into in order to provide that long-term support to these kind of old buildings. But it's been very, very interesting. We certainly couldn't have done it without my parents, and specifically like my dad's involvement, because him being a builder has meant that he has known so many things, connected with so many people, made so many things happen for us, kept such a good eye and gauge on everything. But I will be having the first vlog coming out in the next couple of weeks for the actual renos of the interiors. So you guys will be seeing a little bit of what we've been up to. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of trial and error. It's been kind of the vision getting adjusted and everything like that. But slowly but surely, it's coming good. It's starting to look really, really nice around here. So I'm excited to share that. But for now, that's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, something a little bit different. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have any fun ideas for the outdoor space based on what you saw today. If you have any suggestions, maybe some more plantings for privacy, what you have done in your property to create a little bit of like a green belt around your place. I would love to hear it. I always try and like filter and read through my comments, especially here on YouTube. It's such a nice community that we have. But yeah, that's all for now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Bye.